This is my system set up in August 2020. My desk, screens and the computer there in the corner. I've had this system for 6 years now. It stood the test of time. It cost £2,500 6 years ago. You can see it's got a good case, gunmetal case. It's a 4790K. It had 5 terabytes of hard drive when I bought it. I've upgraded it now to 20 terabytes. 32 gig RAM, 2 SSDs and 4 mechanical drives. Originally cost £2,500. Had the hard drives, probably around £3,000 spent on it. And it's 6 years old and it's proven reliable for 6 years, which is what you want from a system, reliability. That's what Intel are good for, making systems that are reliable. Will the Ryzen CPUs last 6 years? I don't know. So I've got 2 full HD screens running off a GTX 970 card. Remember, it's 6 years old. All of the hardware in this system when I bought it was just released, brand new, like the 4790K, like the GTX 970 came out. I bought it within a month of it coming out. So it is a good spec system. Basically you get what you pay for. So these are 2 Dell 24-inch monitors. And I also got a 4K, I think it's 72-inch, might be bigger, TV. 4K TV by LG. Which I know I can run it at 4K, but there's not much point. You just put strain on the GPU. Full HD's fine resolution. I can have all 3 screens running at the same time off the GTX 970. But usually, if I'm going to watch a movie on the big screen, then I disable. I just turn one of the monitors off, and that's the display setting. See, you got the 2 monitors. These 2 monitors activated. It's flickering a bit on that. And the TV normally switched off. When I want to watch a movie, I just extend it to include that and disable this screen. So I like to have 2 screens at the same time, but mostly it's these 2. And when I watch a movie, I have that on. And that's for my hard drives. Where are they? There they go. 6 hard drives, 2 SSDs and 4 mechanical. 20 terabyte in total. So it is even by today's standards. This system is powerful. Big, powerful system. You know how many people out there have got a 32 gig RAM system with 20 terabytes of hard drive space? How many people? Not many. And like I said, it's a 4790K, which I've had overclocked to 4600 megahertz across all cores. So that goes to show how good Intel used to be in producing processors. Well, it is only 4 core, 8 thread, so obviously, while it is a good processor, it's not going to compare against a 6 core, 8 core, 10 core, 12 core or even 16 core 3950X. But 4600 megahertz from a 6-year-old processor running stable, that is pretty good. And it overclocks across all cores, you know, when it's under load. So this system is good, which is why I have not upgraded it in 6 years. Although this year I am looking to upgrade. Originally I had Windows 7 installed, which I upgraded for free to Windows 10. You can watch a video of how I did that. You should still be able to do it, maybe, but it's free, Windows Ultimate, which is good. In terms of performance, Cinebench comes out around 2090, so you can Cinebench R20 comes out at 2090, and frames per second on Cinebench R15, although they say that graphics test is not very reliable, but on that it comes around at 144 FPS. So the graphics card is, and the processor are showing their age now. They were once upon a time very good, very powerful, and they can still keep their own. You know, if you get a, say, 1650 card, something like that, or 1050, then GTX 970 will still hold its own. If you get a 4K processor, Intel or AMD, the 4790K will still hold its own against it in benchmarks and usage. So it is a good system, but it is showing its age. So I will be upgrading this year. What will I be upgrading to? Well, I'm going to wait to see what the 4000 series proper, or what they're like in terms of performance, and I might go for something like a 4950X if they're going to release one, which by looks of it they might not. Or I might even go for a Threadripper 3960X, because remember, the system I buy next, I'm going to be keeping it for a good 5 to 6 years. I've kept this system for 5 to 6 years. Basically, you get what you pay for. £2,500, and it's lasted me 6 years. All I've upgraded is the hard drives, which I can carry over to my new system. Depending on what I get, if it's a Ryzen, it'll probably cost around £3,000, 2800, £2,500 to £3,000. If it's a Threadripper, it's probably going to cost around £4,000. But whatever system I get, it will last me a good 5 years at least, 6 years probably, like this one has. Like, this system is perfectly fine. It's just obviously slow on rendering, and in terms of extending usage to, for instance, machine learning, there's no point. The GPU is okay, but 6 years old, is showing its age. Same with the processor. 4 cores was great. Let's see if I can bring them up. There we go. There's the cores. 4 cores, 8 thread. Easy to overclock. It's just on an air cooler, and it runs stable at 4600 megahertz. On stock it's 44, so it's 200 megahertz overclocked. I've overclocked the GPU slightly as well, but not much. They all run stable. So our one negative thing is that the GTX fans, once they stop spinning if you reboot, or if you close MSI Afterburner. You have to keep them, you have to configure MSI Afterburner to continuously have them spinning at a low rate when not under load, otherwise they stop spinning, as this one has. Look, RPM is 0. That means it stopped spinning, it's stuck. To unstick it, I have to basically just remove the panel and get a pencil and just hit it, whirl it. I do it, I reboot it about once a fortnight, and that's when I do it. So it's getting ready for a reboot now, and I'll do that. Open it up, put a pencil in the fan so it gets it spinning, and then it'll be fine. I just like use it in terms of usage, just leave it on for a fortnight, then reboot. And MSI Afterburner keeps the fan spinning so it doesn't spin down to 0 at a low rate, 20%, or about 500 RPM. That stops it from sticking. So that temperature is higher than what it should be on idle. So if I put it under load, you'll see the temperature rocket higher. Just opening up this DaVinci Resolver, then I'll render something. And you can also watch the CPU cores throttling to 100%. So let's start rendering this video and see the temperature rocket. Okay, the fan spinning on the CPU. CPU goes up. And there we go, temperature's rocketing higher. Because the fan is not spinning. Well, not quite 100% on CPU usage, but the temperature's going up. It's a delay. 60 degrees. CPU is not on 100%. See what the temperature for the CPU is. I can hear the fan spinning. There you go, just 42 degrees. So that's one of the consequences of age. The GTX fans tends to stick. The solution to which is afterburner, to keep the fans constantly spinning at a low RPM so that they can spin up when under load. But if you accidentally close it, then there's a chance that the fan will stop spinning. And to get the fan spinning, you just stick a pencil in and into the fan and shake it a bit and it'll start spinning. It's going to 65 degrees now. CPU temperature is quite low. 59. 4790K, 59 degrees under load. 60 degrees. Look at modern processors. 3600X under load will go over 80 degrees. That's with better cooling than what we've got. Although this has got good cooler in. Like I said, when I bought it, I didn't buy a cheap system. Everything's good in there. Good cooler, nocturnal. If you can see it there, can you see it there? Big cooler on the CPU. So here's a good system. Yeah, a lot of GTX coming up towards 70 degrees, while CPU 60. You won't get modern CPUs at 60 under load. Obviously they've got more cores. So that's the system. In terms of performance, GTX 970, 4790K, 32 gig RAM. Yeah, people today, not many people today buy 32 gig RAM systems. The GTX 970 can support 3 screens, even a 4K if you disable one. Now that's a 4K TV, and these are full HD Dells. These one normally have, well, they're all connected, but they're not switched on. The TV's not like in the display settings, not extended to it. Yeah, so that's the TV there. All I would need to do to extend it is just go down here and extend if I wanted to watch a movie. Normally I just disable one. So that's the computer. Let's see what the, don't want to get to 72 degrees, still increasing. That's the keyboard, which ordinary keyboard. They last about a year before I need replacing. And a good ergonomic mouse. They last about 2-3 years before they need replacing. And what else have we got here? Microphone, speakers plugged in all the way around. Oh yeah, this Perspex stand, that is quite expensive. You can take a lot of weight. That's how much it cost me. It's I think it's over 1, 2, 3, 4 foot long. Guess how much this cost? This thick Perspex stand. Can you guess? It was £190 6 years ago. £190. Like I say, you get what you pay for, and it's stuffed full of papers and stuff, and can take a lot of weight. I've got 2 speaker systems. One's with the with a Dell monitor. That's for everyday use, and when I watch a movie I switch on the main speaker system. There's the Virgin hub, yeah, speaker system, and a lot of wiring. The wiring is not very good. Wiring layout, cables all over. I'll show you what the cabling's like. Yeah, look, all over. Wiring, papers, everything's fallen over the years. A lot of junk behind the desk. Needs a good clear out. Oh yeah, I've got a UPS as well. They last about 3 years before they stop working. That's good for in case of power cut. Now if the fuse trips, you've got a few minutes. I think up to 5 minutes, something like that, depending on what you've got switched on, to either put the power on or shut down the system. Like on this, I've got the computer connected and one monitor. Yeah, computer and one monitor connected to the UPS, so that if there's a power trip I can quickly go and turn it on. Oh, 77 degrees now. So if there's a power trip I can quickly go and switch the fuse back on, and if it fails for whatever reason, or there's a power cut on the street, then I can just shut down system or put into sleep. Sleeps quicker. Look, it's going 77 degrees and no fan. RPM 0. Should be 100%. So even without the fans running, the other fans, yeah, let's have a look. See, fan speed 100%. Going to the profile, fan speed should now be 100%, but it's not spinning, so RPM is 0. So if you've got an old graphics card, any card, do check to see if the fan's actually spinning. You never know, it might be stuck and you're not aware. If you're getting high temperatures, it's not spinning up. It's been under load for a good 5 minutes, 5-6 minutes, and it's still below 80 degrees. When does it, it's not throttled yet, not much. I have overclocked it slightly, about 2%, just slightly. 80 degrees now, nudging 80. It's definitely shortened its life running hot, so I do keep an eye on it, especially after a reboot. Anyway, that's my system in August 2020 before I upgrade. The desk is a mess, yes, and the back of the computer is a mess. And lots of wiring and papers falling through. Need a good clear out. This is what happens when you have a computer that you've been using for 6 years. Here's a good computer. So what will I get next? This year, hopefully, by the end of this year, I've upgraded to a new system that should last me at least 5 years, maybe 6. What will it be? Well, I'm gonna see what the 4000 Ryzen are like. It'll either be 4950X 16 core, or it'll be a 24 core 4960X Threadripper. If there's an issue with the Threadrippers, like ridiculously priced, I might just go for a 3960X Threadripper. We'll see what the prices are like and what the specs and that supply. That's what probably my next system will be. 4950X or a 4960X or a 3960X system. I'm looking to spend at least £3,000 on it, and depending on which spec I go for, maybe £4,000, and it should do me for a good 5 years. I can always, graphics card, probably a 2070 Super, should do okay. I can always SLI a second one if I need extra processing power. That should be fine for my use. Look, the GTX 970 is okay, it's good. So going for a 2070 Super, which is about, at least twice as powerful, that should be fine. So the bottleneck on this system is not the graphics card. In my use profile, it's the CPU. That's why I'm going for a bigger jump in CPU processing power than the graphics card. See, the bottleneck for me is the CPU. 4 cores are not enough, whereas the GPU is fine if it's going hot, even though obviously this one's faulty. Well, the fans are, they've coming to the end of their life. They need a nudge to spin. The GPU is fine. Look, the GPU utilization. It's not 20%. 20% is it? Might, because it's throttling a little bit. It's gone at 84 degrees now. So the bottleneck on this system is obviously the CPU. You know, imagine 24 cores, going from 4 cores to 24, gonna make a massive difference. There will be no CPU bottleneck then. Whereas the GPU will probably be double. I think 2070 Super is at least double, maybe, I don't know, I think 2.5 times more powerful. But hey, look, oof, I'm gonna have to stop rendering. 85 degrees I'm seeing. I don't want to reboot GPU to switch the system off. That's what happens when it gets too hot. What's left? It's nearly finished, 97%. So it should stop on its own accord. But the bottleneck on this system is the CPU. 96%, 22% GPU. So 2070 Super will be more than adequate. Yeah, you see how quickly the temperature drops. The fans have stopped spinning. GPU utilization 0. There we go, drop off. Idle, system's idling now, 7% utilization. And the temperature is slowly going down. Obviously because the CPU fans have stopped spinning, the case fans, the temperature is going down very slowly. There's nothing taking the hot air out, but it's going down at least. So it can survive without the fans working. Obviously it's better to have them working, otherwise it shortens its life. So that's on idle, now 6-7%. GPU 0, maybe 0 to 2%. Maybe a little bit higher on YouTube. Even under load it didn't go over about 25% GPU. So my bottleneck is not GPU, it's CPU. 16 cores minimum I'm going to get. I'll probably make the leap to 24 core. Because I know in my work load it's the bottlenecks has been CPU rather than GPU. I don't sit there playing games, I do work. Yes, it's good to have a good GPU, but 6 years ago, 4 core, 8 thread, that was the best processor for retail, unless you want to pay thousands for a Xeon. Now you can get a 12 core 3900X, you can get 10 core 109, some 600k maybe, for around £400. And then you got a 3950X and then you're going to get the 4000 series Zen 3s, hopefully to be announced within the next couple of months. But this is still a good system. I'm only going for it because I'm going to expand what I'm going to use the system for. It's still good. I'll probably pass it on to one of my kids so they can make use of it. It'd be good. Like, if you bought a similar spec system to this in terms of processing power, graphics, excluding the hard drives, no one's going to get 20 terabytes of hard drive storage, but 32 gig RAM and everything like that, you won't be able to get it for under £1,000. No, you won't be able to get this level of performance for under £1,000. So how much would a similar spec system to this cost today? Let's do a quick calculation. Okay, so here we got a spreadsheet. Case. This is a good case. One gunmetal 120. Motherboard. Got a good nocturnal cooler, maybe £60. The motherboard maybe 100, so 160. Graphics card equivalent to a GTX 970, maybe a low end 1650, 4 GB RAM, somewhat similar, say £140. And memory 32 gig RAM. How much is the memory now? I think £100. Get 32 gig now for £100. Samsung 1 terabyte drive, that's around £100, let's say 110, something like that. Power supply, got a good power supply, I think it's 1000 watt. There, so maybe £100 for that. So this is how much this system would cost today. What I'm using new components, about £730. Bit lower than I thought it'd be. What am I missing? The memory costs more. DDR3. Let's see how much DDR3 memory is. Amazon 2133. There we go, £110. Corsair. Oh, let's put that in. Yeah. Everything else looks about right. So, oh yeah, operating system obviously. Windows 10. You have to buy an operating system. How much is Windows 10 Professional? What? £12? Oh, upgrade. £190. We've got different pricings, but they're not all. Well, we'll go with this £100. So operating system will be £100. So now how much is it? £840. So a similar spec to this 6-year-old 4790K would cost about £850 today. Using new components case with CPU. I'm not put the CPU in ever. CPU. Let's use a 4K 8-thread CPU. Just any one. CPU for probably Intel. 4-core 8-thread. Yeah, oh, that one. Cheap one. Oh, fuck off. Um, 3.2. This is a similar spec CPU in terms of gigahertz and performance. 3400G. That's similar. 130. Yeah, that would be similar. 3400G because the Intels do have CPU graphics on board. Yeah, so I'll go for the 3400G at £130. So I'll put that in. Oh, I forgot to put the CPU fee. £1,000 that's suspected. So a similar spec to the one I've got here. The 6-year-old will still cost £1,000 today. It goes to show you get what you pay for. 6 years ago I paid £2,500 and it's still, well, it's not worth £1,000, but if you built a similar system to this spec today using new components, it'd be about £1,000. Obviously you can buy one second hand cheaper. I'm guessing you can get something similar to this for around 700, 600, 700 second hand. New components, similar spec, will be £1,000. So it's running hot, 80 degrees, which means I'm going to prod it with a pencil so you can see what I do. Get the GPU fan running. Unclip the case, get the pencil and shove it in. Should get the fan spinning. You can hear it now. There's 2 fans, but one's enough. So the fan spinning and tacho, well, it's not showing any change there, but look, the temperature's dropping fast. That's just one fan spinning. So do check your fans on these old GPUs, because this stops spinning and the temperature rockets up. All it takes is a little pencil. You can do a routine once a boot. Right, let's get the other fan spinning as well. They're both spinning. Still not showing me any RPM. I don't know why. The temperature's dropped. Fan speed 33%, yeah, because the temperature's dropped. Come on, get to under 40. There we go. Load's dropped and temperature's dropped to below 40. That's normal. That's what the GTX is normally like. It's around 40, under no load, below 40, with some load. Costs around 44, 45. But only if you're doing something like benchmarking will it go over 50. And you never see 80, only if the fan's stuck. Might get to 60, low 70s, depending on how long it's running. What the load is, but never. Yeah, so all I did was prod it underneath. There's 2 fans there underneath. I just stuck a pencil in and prodded to get the fans to keep moving. have to do it once every reboot if afterburner is not running. Yeah, the fans are now settled at 570 RPM and temperatures at 31 degrees. That's at idle.